Donald Trump's assault on American democracy continues, now assaulting its living embodiment, if you will, the White House. He can't leave well enough alone. That spinning sound you hear is Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, who came up with the beauty of the Rose Garden as we know it. We thought Melania had gone too far when she restructured the Rose Garden during the first term, putting in some more hardscape and ripping out the beloved crabapple trees. But wait till you see what Donald Trump has done next. No, it's not the $200 million ballroom that he's lying to the American people that he's going to pay out of pocket or something like that, he said. But now it's just a paved over. Think where parking lot attendants park cars. Think where just a hardscape in the back of the White House, nothing garden about it, certainly nothing rose about it. It does have an interesting feature. It has some sort of drainage pits that are in the shape of the United States. It is so bad. Wait till you hear what I'm going to tell you. And then I'm going to juxtapose it with what he's doing to the East Wing, building a $200 million addition that's going to swamp the size of the White House as he leaves a scar where there once was a beloved White House. I'm Michael Popok. You're on the Sunday morning edition of Legal AF, and let's talk about the destruction of everything that's right about the White House being done by its current occupant. Hit the subscribe button, and let's start talking. All right. Here's let me just show you some of the social media posts that have come out about as we roll the pictures of what the Rose Garden looked like originally under Jacqueline Kennedy and other presidents, including Barack Obama, what Melania Trump then did to it back in 2020, which was terrible, but not as terrible as what's happened now, and what Donald Trump has done to it now. Here's what Evan Loves Wharf had to say. He said, the fact that he turned the Rose Garden into effing cement is such a perfect metaphor for everything these people do. Four Seasons Total Landscaping. Do you remember Four Seasons Total Land? This might have been my favorite post so far. Remember Four Seasons Total Landscaping? They were when Rudy Giuliani announced that he had some secret evidence about the stolen election, and he was going to be giving a press conference at the Four Seasons, and all the reporters scrambled to the Four Seasons in Washington, the hotel. Turned out he was at a shopping center in front of where a massage parlor was on one side and the Four Seasons Total Landscaping was on the other. Well, they've now become very political. They didn't appreciate that their name was abused by Rudy Giuliani. So Four Seasons Total Landscaping said, here at Four Seasons, we held a 2-minute silence in memory of the Rose Garden. The man has no class. Chris Jackson said, dear God, the Rose Garden renovation looked worse than anyone could have ever imagined. Here's hoping the next president, looking at you, Democrats, will rip this up and restore its beauty. Harry Sisson said, wow, the Rose Garden renovation by Trump is absolutely appalling. He removed a beautiful piece of the White House and replaced it with concrete crap. I'm glad I got to see the Rose Garden in person before. So did I. Trump did this because this is just gross. Johnny MAGA, I love Johnny MAGA. Johnny MAGA wrote, Trump's Rose Garden patio is complete. The drainage grates are in the shapes of American flags, and there's a presidential seal in all four corners. Amazing job. Oh, my God. Now let's switch gears and talk about the couple of $100 million, and just double that number, that's going to be spent to build a ballroom next where the East Wing used to be. Now, they won't answer questions about what they're going to really do to the East Wing. They keep saying, well, it's been renovated a couple of times and it's not original, and it was renovated in 1925 and then the 1940s. We're just going to uplift it and upgrade it again. Okay, they're going to tear down the East Wing. Let's be frank. They're going to tear down the East Wing. They're going to put on a 100,000 square foot addition, which is going to be ballroom space filled with golden chandeliers with a ballroom that's modeled after Mar-a-Lago. That's the scar and the stain that Donald Trump is putting on this White House, right? It wasn't enough that he and his followers tried to burn down the Capitol building on Jan 6th. Now he's leaving a lasting legacy that the next president is going to have to spend hard-earned taxpayer dollars to fix. Now, he uses the same excuse for both renovations and both remodelings. I've never heard this before. We know he's a serial misogynist. We know he is from trials and testimony, sworn testimony, unrebutted, that he is a serial sexual abuser. He's an adjudged sexual abuser in the E. Jean Carroll case. He's been adjudged in the criminal conviction case to be a felon that paid for sex and then paid off the people to avoid having it go public. We know that. We know he has a bizarre relationship, unhealthy, almost Oedipal relationship with women. Yeah. He either, including his own family, including his daughter, he either has depraved sexual fantasies about people in his own family, like Ivanka. We've all seen those photos and saw that testimony. Or he has a weird sexual attraction or power attraction to women who all look about the same, that he puts in positions of power like Alina Habba and Carolyn Levitt and Hope Hicks and Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi. Look at them. Look what they look like. Or he attacks women. So he's either the great defender of women or he's the predator of women. And we all know that coming out of the Epstein affair. So what's the story as to why he had to bulldoze the Rose Garden and pave it over with cement and add a $200 million addition that you and I are going to pay for onto the East Wing for a ballroom? Because women get their high heels caught in the grass. I'm not kidding. The Rose Garden, I guess, for women in high heels was a problem with all that grass. There's a solution for that. You can put down a dance floor. You can put down walkways on top of the grass and kind of take it back up. I mean, we have arenas in America that switch from basketball hardwood to ice hockey in the night in one day. We can't transform the actual grass and rose garden and crab trees of the old Rose Garden into something that can support women's high heels and then take it all down again. It has to be bulldozed over as if it were a parking lot. He said the same thing about the ability to host large groups of people at the White House. He hates tents. And I guess the tents were in grass and the grass was with women and women with back to high heels again. So we got to spend $200 million on a ballroom. This is just Donald Trump wanting to leave, like any dictator, a lasting legacy. Dictators like Saddam Hussein and Putin put up giant statues of Stalin or of Saddam Hussein or of the leader of North Korea or the leader of China, major giant oil paintings and graphics that all celebrate the fearless leader, right? Mussolini did it. Hitler did it. Russia did it. Stalin did it. And Trump is doing it. And instead of putting up, besides the fact that he's put his painting and his photo everywhere all over the White House and gilded with gold, 24 karat gold, every room there and changed the faucets and made this into a gaudy, classless Trump hotel on the casino strip in Vegas. That's what he's done to the White House, the beloved sacred space of our democracy. But now he's got to bring Mar-a-Lago and his image to the White House permanently, because the next president's not going to tear down a $200 million ballroom. Maybe they'll take away all the gold gaudy, but and all the right and all that. But this is what he's trying to do with our taxpayer dollars. So we'll never forget. Trust me, we're never going to forget you were president. You're going to go, and no amount of your building and construction and gold leaf and photos and oil paintings is going to change your obituary as a convicted felon, twice or 4 times or 5 times impeached fraudster and sex abuser. That's the first paragraph of your bio and your history books. And that you were the first president that a Supreme Court ever supported and avoided putting into jail by expanding what immunity means. That's your bio. That's your indelibly burned into the history books of forevermore. They'll be talking about you in the wrong way for hundreds of years, including your role in Jan 6th. And no amount of your building and gold leaf and parking lot paving is going to change that. But we're going to call it out right here on Legal AF. Take a moment, hit the free subscribe button. Sunday mornings with Legal AF. Grab a coffee, grab a bagel. We got a full day of programming. In the meantime, hit the free subscribe button. Until my next video, I am Michael Popok. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.